I have a cousin in Canada and an uncle who actually worked on a system similar to that, minus the HHO part of it, and was actually taking an airstream and through a wide screen, creating a bubble stream through the gasoline.
Right, just basically just like a
and collecting just the vapor off the top, extremely lean, but fully gaseous. Okay, where the difference between the standard combustion engine, where you have an injector that's spraying a mist, that mist is not turning into the full gaseous state when it enters the combustion chamber. That creates a very slow flame front, and that causes the burning process to continue on its way out the exhaust port down to the catalytic converter, where the rest of it is burned in the catalytic converter. Okay, it's extremely wasteful. It will burn completely and much more leanly. Is that a word?
Lean just said it.
It is today.
Put it in the book.
Write that down.
It is.
Leanly, I like it.
Lean, leaner,
Yes, you heard it here first.
Yeah, it'll run much leaner and burn completely without pre-detonation if it is just a vapor. Yes?
Lean probably is a word that needs to come out somehow to understand that it doesn't mean lean like less fuel, but maybe whatever it means. The same for the term of dry cell, or my understanding from good sources, bipolar cell.
Okay.
Maybe it needs to be defined.
Dry cells and wet cells were discussed earlier in the session, and it's pretty well accepted what a lean mixture stands for. I think it'd be a pretty fair statement to say that practically everybody in this room understands what a lean mixture is.
What a lean mixture is.
Right. Okay, so anyway, he had this experiment going. It was working fine. He was talking to the Canadian government about patents for it, and then one day he was driving down the road and blew the hood off of his car completely. Left it behind him in the road. That was the end of those experiments. So it's a great way. It's a great way to do it if you can control and contain the process where you don't have a fully combustible mixture that is susceptible to a backfire from the engine, because we know.
And have a spark arrestor.
You got to have a spark arrestor. That's right.
The best spark arrestor that you never have is wood.
Yes.
Buckshot, brass fittings.
There is no such thing as an effective dry flashback arrestor. If anybody tries to tell you otherwise, you're going to see an explosion one day, and you're going to say, that's the last time I ever used a
hydrogen
flashback.
builds up in there and starts to corrode.
That's correct.
Right?
That's
Now
correct.
you got a grenade. I've done it. I got those little buckshot BBs going through one of my sheds all through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sir.
My question's about the term I keep hearing now, that is the plasma arc
Yes.
spark plug. What
Yep.
do you know about, or does anybody know about that technology, the concept of it?
I would have to defer to my colleague here on that, because all I'm going to be able to do with the limited understanding I have of that level of physics is to play and see what happens.
Do you understand the concept of how it works?
I understand the basic concept of fracturing the water vapor on demand by passing it through the plasma field, and igniting it at the same
Well,
time.
it's simple, you know. I mean, you're welding. Say you're MIG welding. There's a little water on there. What is it going to do? You know what I mean? On the piece that you're welding. You know.
Well, you're seeing
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's actually igniting. Water does ignite.
You're seeing the effect of the presence of water in the plasma arc at that point, yes. But if you can take that and as Stan Myers did, see the hydrogen generator in Stan Myers' system, that was just part of the puzzle. Okay. The other half, the rest of the story is he took that water vapor laden HHO and sent it through his plasma injectors in the engine, and when the plasma injectors fired, it ignited the HHO. Plasma field took the water vapor with it, and ignited the rest of that on demand, and that's where he was starting to see some things happen. Now, the plasma field enters the realm of quantum physics, and I don't do quantum physics.
All I know is it's like with a
but-
cold fusion.
You still need electrolysis.
I do know that I can conduct an experiment and I can observe the results, and I hope that I can replicate the results and generate the desired outcome. And with accurate data collection, we hope to be able to do that. I would love to play with a Firestorm spark plug, and a couple of members in our group have actually replicated the Firestorm spark plug by hand with great pain and suffering to get those pieces together and create the tungsten balls inside the wire cage, and tested them, and they work. Now I'm thinking if we can take a design like that and create a water vapor injector as part of that plug, now we're home. But
Biggest problem that I've seen with it is the heat. Cold fusion is so vital. It's hard to keep in control. Yeah, I can make my shop look like Frankenstein's lab, glowing up all over. half an hour later, you know what I mean? I'm wondering if I'm going to blow myself up in there as soon as it starts heating up. Temperatures just go run so wild. It's so hard to keep it in control.
But you know what's exciting about that? Okay, you're talking about plasma arc in water, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great benchtop experiment to demonstrate the feasibility of the technology, because when you have the plasma arc being generated in a container of water, and you know you have a fixed volume of water, you can calculate very, very, very closely what the BTU of energy is being released in that container by measuring how quickly the temperature rises for that given volume of water. Now, the BTU of energy is a measure of can be translated to degrees per minute for a given volume of water, and I don't know off the top of my head what that is, but I do know that that's the way you figure it out. And if you do the math, you find out that the amount of energy it took to create that plasma arc is less than the BTU energy that you're seeing released in that jar to heat the water. That's a fact. That is a fact. And several of our members have plasma arc heater systems that recirculate plasma arc heated water through radiator cores that heat their houses. And they spend about 1/5 the amount of energy that the rest of us spend and pay homage to the energy lords with. Okay? I heat my house electrically. Wow, does that cost a lot of money? Yes.
Sort of while you're looking at that kind of thing, 6 months down the line, given the array of challenges and tasks you've presented for yourself over the coming months, what issues do you expect to resolve, and what kind of results do you expect to achieve?